Counterpunch Media Live in 3, 2, 1.
Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com. If you're not going to Mortal Up, why not just stay in bed?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome, and thank you for stopping by. Time is flying, but now we're into the 453rd episode. That's absolutely amazing to me. 453rd episode. As you know by now, the number one rated all-natural being, and my sidekick, always riding shotgun, the gong. For the people that, let's say, oh, I'd like to hear the gong, or legendary, because make no mistake, drop the mic, you heard it here first. If you're vertical, you've got a legend to let loose. And to that end, we're serving up the best thoughts in the history of thinking. So what do you say? Here's your opportunity to mortal up, to crush your can't end your critics. We're fired up about that. It's time to go kick in some doors. We're very fired up. What do we say today is? So if today is really Wednesday, as they say, I think is what today is Wednesday. If today is Wednesday, then we have Wednesday show, Thursday show, Friday. Only 4 shows left live before I head over to have a neuronal pedicure coming up next Tuesday morning. And we've got some information about how that's going to go. And, and the doctors say to me, they go, oh, well, make sure you don't catch the flu. Make sure you don't catch, right? Because if you come in and you're not feeling well, let me take this white thing, bugs, it makes me hungry. I think there's like a huge stuffed Oreo behind me. Get rid of this, please. They said, don't come with the flu, don't come with allergies, don't come this and that, because if you can't breathe, we can't put you under. And then everywhere you go, people are sneezing and coughing, and trees are just budding and throwing their spores everywhere and everything else. It's like, oh my good Lord, is there anything I can do to keep my voice? Is there anything I can do to keep from being all worked up? And the answer is no. No, nothing at all. And I said, okay, great. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you. So, but a big show this morning, big. We've got a special call-in guest. This morning's Low Life. Oh, Dana Lee, let me jump right into the thread. Dana, good morning. Lee, good morning. Green tea, Lysol, and I know, and thanks to Dana, I've sworn off drinking Monster, right? Well, that, and I promised Ashley I wouldn't drink it anymore, but vitamins. Well, here is the strange thing, Dana, since you bring that up. 10 days out from my cognitive manicure, they don't want me taking anything. I'm not allowed to take vitamins. I'm not allowed to take supplements. I'm barely allowed to breathe. They don't want anything in my system. I don't know, but there's a whole laundry list, and I think the attorneys have more to do with it. You know what? I thank you so much if you're listening on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, and if you're watching here, I got to unbutton a button. I always try to button up a little bit, but I don't know. It feels a little too much for me this morning. So here's the scoop. They don't want you taking, drinking, eating, doing pretty much anything. They just want you to just abstain from everything 10 days out. So I've got that going for me, which is nice. But I do normally love a nice green tea with my vitamins in the morning. Lee, good morning to you as well. Dana, I've been thinking about you all day. I'm excited about, let me see, 106.3 FM starting April 29th, called The Real Deal with Dana Lee. She'll have her own radio show. We're fired up about that. Oh, speaking of radio shows, 104.9 The River. Not allowed to say them. Not allowed to say that on air. But you know what? Really, who's listening? I got like just a handful of friends and some family, right? So I don't have to worry about it. But 104.9 The River, I'm not allowed to say that. Now, I'm courting a second radio station, and I'm not prepared to say their name yet. I'm courting a second radio station. I've sent them 3 different communiques, right? Facebook, Twitter, as one would, and then an official email, and just said, look, I'm no competition to you. I'll come and empty the trash. I'll do coffee runs. I'll be quiet. I'll be very, very quiet. Quiet as a mouse in the back of the studio. If you could just teach me, this radio thing, right? If you could just teach me how to do this. Haven't heard back in a week. So next week we might have, because here's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of posting a list here in the studio of all the television, all the radio stations that couldn't even be bothered to return an email from a listener. Could be, but it's all about our listeners. Yes, it's all about our listeners. We want to make absolutely certain that it's all about our listeners. We love them. It's iHeartRadio. How can we not iHeart our listeners? And then you can't even return an email. So I think I'm going to do like a board of shame, right? You've heard of the walk of shame. I'm going to do a board of shame, and 104.9. They're in the top of my list always, right? 104.9 The River here in Columbus. They're going to be at the top of my list, and maybe I'll just start adding radio stations that are so, just through it. Now, Dana, see, here's some shtick. Dana says go through a nonprofit radio station. Well, you know who I'll end up? I'll end up driving to Rochester once a week for your show. Yeah, that's how I'll do it. I'll get a radio station to say yes to me. Darn it. All right, so this morning we've got, let's just hop right into it. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on. Don't forget, if you want to give us a call, 833-646-3877, 833-MIND-UPS, just like push-ups, sit-ups, or pull-ups. I'm sure you know by now. Give us a holler. College station. Ooh, yes, a college station. It'd be nice to walk onto a college campus. I mean, right? I haven't been there in a few years. A lot of years, actually. So a college station, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, but it wouldn't be as funny as me throwing all these other people under the bus and their attorneys saying letters going, you better not say our name again. You better not. You know what? That's disparaging. And this just in, Lori Loughlin in the college admission scandal I'm seeing come across the wire, she's decided to ask the judge for a change of venue because she says, I can't get a fair trial here in Los Angeles. I'd like to have it go over to Cook County in Chicago. And a side note, Jesse Smollett's legal team will be representing Laura Loughlin now. So there's some news that I don't know why you'd want to use that news, but yeah, she's thinking to herself, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask for a change of venue. I'm going to go to the Chicago change of venue because she thinks she can get a fair trial the same way Jesse Smollett did. So, and let me also say thank you to everyone that's supplied me with the different Jesse Smollett memes. As you know, this time of year, I like to clean out all my Facebook friends because when you bump up against 5,000, they don't let you get any more friends. So I'm cleaning out my friends, and the quickest way to peel people from your list is to say that you think Jesse Smollett might be guilty. Right. And that, for that little bit of, he might be guilty. Right. And it's fascinating to me. Everyone will jump on the bandwagon and go, well, that Lori Loughlin, boy, she's got a lot of nerve. And everyone goes, well, it's Chicago cops. Jesse, the poor guy. And then I saw the other day, I don't know if you happen to hear this, speaking of lowlifes making headlines, but I have a really good lowlife making headline this morning. So unfortunately, he doesn't get to share the title this morning. But one of the two brothers that he accused, or one of the two brothers that was involved in this whole scam, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Well, thank you for AT&T. With all the money I pay you every month, thank you so very much to tell me that I've used up 75% of all my data. losers. You ready for this? The guy that is alleged to have roughed up Jesse Smollett, the guy Jesse Smollett said, "Oh, hey, who, you over there, who are you talking to? Who are you making fun of?" Just wins in his weight division a Golden Gloves boxing tournament. Like, he wins the national title, I guess, or is it international title if you're in Golden Gloves? Anybody know? Let me know here in the thread. But one of the two guys that's alleged that Jesse said, "Well, I just had enough, and I'm absolutely certain that that I was going to call them out. I just can't take it anymore." Yeah, well, you know who he picked a fight with? The guy who just won the Golden Gloves boxing championship. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong there. Nothing to see there. So, Lori Loughlin, good job in seeking a change of venue. I wish you all the luck in that in the world. Change of venue to Chicago and Cook County. So there you go. All right, so this morning's Low Life Making Headlines. We've got a special guest that'll be calling in. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. And, I also want to make mention of this since we're talking about throwing, maybe a board of shame. I'll have to get Lee, because Lee is great at writing comedy. I don't know if you've seen Lee Rowley's latest with Fallout Bob and everything else, but I have an idea that I'm working on, Lee, that I want to talk to you about. So, all right, so let's see who is our caller. Good morning. Thank you for calling All Natural Being. Who is this?
Good morning. This is Wayne.
Hey, Wayne, as you know, we spare no expense here at All Natural Being for our production budget. So let me do this. I know you probably are busy at the control board, so you can't see, but I now have your name up. I have a logo that says Wayne Noel. There you go. Hey, Wayne, so...
That's scary.
On the off chance that you called in this morning... On the off chance that you called in this morning with the sound effect of calling from a wind tunnel on your bicycle, what's going on in your world?
Well, I just figured I would sit down and join in on the Low Life's conversation today.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Low Life's making headlines. I like that. Now, it's interesting because I got an email from you the other day, and there was an audio clip. So maybe should I go ahead and play the audio clip first, and then you can kick off our Low Life's making headlines?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
This is an emergency call from your tech support company.
Ooh.
Do not hang up the call. You have paid for your computer technical support a few days ago. We are calling to refund your money as the company has been ordered to close down. Press 1 to get the refund.
Ooh.
Press 2 if you have received the refund from us already. Press 3 if you don't have any customer support subscription. Press 4 if you want to be added to the DNC list. Press 1 to get the refund.
Oh.
Press 2 if you have received the refund from us already.
Well, I have to tell you, Wayne, I love the Bow Chicka Wow Wow music in the background. That, I think, so, but I don't want to, you tell me, who do you think this morning, because you have to really up your game to beat Jesse Smollett, or Smollett, or however it's pronounced. So why is this your Low Life's making headlines this morning? Why don't you catch everybody up on what you're thinking about here?
Well, I put it into the scammers and spammers category, which is going crazy these days.
I know.
And that just happened to be a phone call I received, I guess, day before yesterday.
Okay.
And I receive probably about 300 of those a month.
Good golly.
That's how many people I block on my phone every month.
What do you write your phone number down on like restroom walls and truck stops? Why are you getting that many calls?
It's just people spoofing numbers. They go ahead and they look up the area code and the exchange. And I receive calls maybe 15, 20 a day, people spoofing the number for the same area code, same exchange, just a different number. So now I know
sort of, who it might be. So she goes, well, you should start taking some of those calls. The very next call from 614, which is the area code here in the beautiful suburb of Columbus, Ohio, the area code pops up and the voice says, Konnichiwa. And I go, well, I'm pretty sure I don't know anyone that addresses me Konnichiwa, right? Although, nice to see you as well. Hope you're well. So they're just scams. They're just robocalls. But why I wanted to have you on this morning to talk about our Low Life's making headlines is you told me something yesterday that I never really thought of And why don't you tell everyone here, because this is a real, a listener service, right? This is something everyone should know. What did you tell me about the people that call and go, "Hi, this is Jesse. Can you hear me? You're on a recorded line. Can you hear me okay?" What did you tell me about that transaction?
Yes. Right now, a lot of people, a lot of these spammers or I don't even know what scammers,
Okay.
they'll call and they'll ask you a question or they'll ask, "Is this so-and-so?"
Okay.
And if you answer yes or yeah, what they do is they record that yes or that yes answer.
Okay.
Now, with everybody's information, people don't realize how much of their information is already out there. What they do is they go ahead and take your information, they apply for credit or loans. And when they ask basically, "Do you authorize?" they take that recording and they play it to that institution that says, "Yes,
Get out of here.
you authorize that transaction." And next thing you know, they've got a credit card or a loan in your name.
Can I tell you how now that's some great news and information people use. So just don't say yes, especially when they say, "Hi, it's Tomik. I'm calling on a recorded
My
line."
My response is always, "Who's calling?"
That's a good one. And if you're on a recorded line, what are they going to say, right? Well, do you know how I combat this? How I'm doing my little part? You ready?
Yeah.
Have 5 brain surgeries in 2.5 years, and all the medical bills that pile up. I'm waiting for someone to steal my credit report. People go, "Oh, they could steal your credit report and open and get a mortgage in your name." I can't get a credit card that'll give me a gallon of gas in my name. Are you kidding me? They look at the bills from 5 cognitive pedicures, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well." So I love it. People say, "Oh, you don't want them get them your information. They could buy a Lamborghini in your name. They can't buy lunch in my name." So I love it all the time. They're like, good luck with that. Go to a bank with my name. Try to get a house. Good for you, idiot.
Well, and the interesting part is there was just recently a study.
Ooh. And it's got to be true.
Put out where by 2022,
okay, 2022,
80% of all calls coming into either cell phones or landlines, not only personal but also business lines, 80% of calls coming in are going to be spam and scam calls.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
Now we could have like people always say all the time, "Oh, we need a law." We could have a law where people get rid of robocalls, but you know why that'll never go? Because politicians,
no way to trace them.
Politicians want to be able to do robocalls.
Well, the problem is there's no way to trace these calls.
No, okay.
Someone gets ripped off for $500 on one of these calls.
Right.
They call a local police department. The police department comes in, takes a police report, puts out a warning to everybody, but there's nothing they can do to catch these people. Because these people, they're going from server to server, changing their IP addresses across the board. And today there's no way to track a MAC address, which is the address given to a particular network card that's on every single phone, every computer, every tablet. But there's no way to trace those to a physical location.
Unless you get a FISA warrant, right?
Now, even then, I've been trying to figure out a way to develop an app that would sit down and track right down to a person's device.
Okay.
With a GPS location.
And
I've been working on it for 3 years, and I'm still not able to get there.
And we think most of the calls are coming from Russia, right?
A lot of them are coming from Russia. A lot of them are coming from Africa.
Ooh. Well, I saw something the other day where more people drink Guinness beer in Africa than in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
and a lot of them are starting to come from places like Indonesia.
Ooh. Well, I know one of them must have come from Japan, right? Or are you saying just because someone says konnichiwa, right, and not necessarily coming from Japan?
Right.
All right, cool. Hey, before
and India.
And India, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but what I'm amazed by is that it's all the same. Hi, okay. So just that script, you say, if they say, "Can you hear me okay?" don't say yes.
don't use the word yes or yeah or any affirmative words.
Gotcha. That they could use against you. Yeah, unless you have a credit score like mine. Then feel free. Answer anything you want. Say, hey, would you like my Social Security number? Because I think that'll be a great defense for me at my upcoming divorce proceeding. Say, look, my credit identity was stolen.
Yeah.
All right. Before I let you go, we've got some big news. It's just not all, but that's our low lifes making headlines for this morning here on episode whatever it is, 450 some odd. That's our breaking news this morning for these robocalls. Don't you dare say yes, because that's what they're gunning for. That's what they want you to do. So don't give in to them. All right, Wayne. But we got some other big news. Do you want to go ahead and fill us in on what's going on?
You mean what you tried to force me into?
Yeah. How I twisted your arm. You know how I put you right into this. Yes, so there's some big breaking news of which I know nothing about. Right? This isn't planned. A couple of losers we are. All right, there we go.
Matt Connaughton sneak speak.
Sneak speak.
I'm going to basically be picking up and filling in for Brian to keep the
Sneak speak.
IPM Nation Sneak Speaks going every Sunday night at 7 o'clock.
Oh, that's great. You guys will be fantastic. That's great. So, Sneak Speak, in case people listen here this morning, listen across our platforms, don't know, Sneak Speak is on IPM Nation. It's every Sunday night before, about an hour before Derek Noel Fitness on IPMNation.com. But Sneak Speak is really growing. All kinds of likes and shares and friends and everything else. Dana Lee says, congrats to Wayne. Wayne, congrats. So Sneak Speak is really up and coming, and it's all about what's going to go on IPM Nation, and it's 3 channels, including Counterpunch Media. It's 3 channels across the IPM Nation platform, and it's growing in leaps and bounds. So we were having a meeting the other day, and someone said, well, you know, we're not going to do it on Easter, right? And then said, well, what are you going to do while you're recovering? I go, what am I going to do? I'm probably going to sit back and you know, have a walker and my Mortal Up sign on a stick, and I'll be moving around town doing that. But you guys don't have to give up. You don't have to, right? So Wayne's going to take my spot. So every Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right? Well, it's 7 o'clock Eastern. Will be Sneak Speak with Matt Connaughton and Wayne Noel. You know him, you love him. He's the technical mind behind everything we do here. They'll be picking up and keeping Sneak Speak going. As I said this morning, maybe most of May, June. Maybe I'll be back by July. Who really knows, right? If I come, what happens. So, Wayne, thank you very much for that. I think the show is going to be great because I don't necessarily think you and Wayne see eye to eye on a lot of things. So you do on some, but maybe not on some others. So I think it's going to be very, as IPM Nation stands for, you can't spell IPM without the P in provocative, right? I think you guys are going to have, an absolutely great show.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Very cool. All right, my friend. Well, thank you for calling in. Thank you for agreeing to do that. And thank you for the public service announcement. Look, if you get a call from someone you don't know, and here's the thing. I used to think, oh, it's my area code. It must be important. What a dope.
Spam.
It must be important. Spam, right? So then you know what I did? I even plugged in the numbers like, you know, the kids at school and this and that and everything else. So I'd know exactly what it is that I'm up against when the calls come in, and I just send them a voicemail, go in, delete them, and block the call. But even that's a waste of time. You know what I mean? So I hate cell phones. I hate cell phones.
And people need to realize that they can't allow themselves to be fooled.
Right.
When a caller ID comes up and says Chase Bank.
Right.
Or Dish Network or Microsoft.
Right, Dish Network.
I mean, I can actually send you a message, Brian.
Give me.
That'll say the President of the United States.
Ooh, I'll sit up straight when it comes
caller
in.
ID.
Oh, right.
That's how ridiculous it's gotten.
From the desk of Donald J. Trump? Is it
It
Jay?
just says from the President of the United States.
President of the United States. Okay, yeah, well, I'll sit up straight when that comes in. All right, brother, we'll let you go. Thank you very much for everything. We will talk to you soon. Let me put his name back up. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Wayne Noel with your public service tip for this morning. Don't fall for these robocalls. Okay, now for our kind of like our early morning meme. Let's throw this all together. So, as you probably know, I live in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. And I swear, if these radio stations don't start returning my email, emails or my calls, I'm going to have a shame list, and my goal, if I survive the mental manicure next week at the Columbus, Cranium Shack and Needle Emporium, if I survive that, I'm going to have a board in every radio station that just won't even return an email. But in any event, so I live in Columbus. So the big news this morning, and this is why I think it's news you can use in addition to Wayne's story, is that the Columbus, I'm going to say Blue Jackets. I'm going to say that's the name of the hockey team here. I think it's Blue Jackets. If I'm wrong, please someone correct me. Let me also say hello to Heather. Heather, hello, and Sarah. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. So here's the deal. There's a hockey team in Columbus, a professional hockey team, right? They're playing for the Stanley Cup, or will be, maybe, who knows, fingers crossed, right? I guess if you root for that kind of thing. But so they're going up against the Tampa Bay. Now, Buccaneers would be football, but in hockey, I'm going to say Tampa Bay Lightning. Don't quote me, but I think that's the name of the hockey team. Well, this Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team is just like the Cats took us, right? It's winning all kinds of games. I think it has the best record in the NHL all year long. Well, they come into I guess they're in the playoffs now, right? Getting ready to go for the Stanley Cup. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, I mean, they're not dog meat. They at least made it to the playoffs. And, it's heavily favored. Fate is betting against the Blue Jackets because it's the Tampa Bay Lightning. They know what they're doing, right? One of the top hockey teams in the country. Well, get this, in case you haven't tuned in this morning to anywhere else, and why would you if you could start off here at All Natural Being? I don't know if you knew this, but Tampa Bay swept 4 straight games. They kicked the living crap. 4 straight games. They roughed up the Tampa Bay Lightning, knocking them out of the playoffs, and now the poor little Blue Jackets move on in the Stanley Cup Finals. So whenever the odds seem totally, overwhelmingly stacked against you, remember, they are, right? But then you square your shoulders, you stare it down, and you kick its ass. It's that very simple. And congratulations to the Columbus Blue Jackets, because they weren't supposed to win. They definitely weren't supposed to sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning. So what odds do you have in your life? What are you up against? What is it where everyone and their brother is betting and sister, don't want to mansplain, everyone and their brother and sister is betting against you, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to square my shoulders. I'm going to stare it down, and I'm going to kick it right in the teeth, right? So that's what we're talking about, and that's what we'll end with this morning on the show. What are some of your examples where you go, now everything was stacked against me, everything? I put up yesterday a quick little post that said, what good is your biography? What a crappy biography if you don't have a handful of bad times in it. And as I prepare now, we're coming in on our, however many shows we have left. So if there's 3 shows left, I'm very, very blessed to be in a situation where, I've got some bad times, definitely bad times behind me, but some bad times coming up ahead of me. But what would my biography be if I said, oh, woe is me, right? Look at all the bad stuff that's happened. I go, no, bring it. And like the Columbus Blue Jackets beating up the Tampa Bay Lightning, what are some of the examples in your life where you go, no, I'm just going to win, and I'm going to mop the floor with my critics. I'm going to mop the floor with fate, and I'm going to make fate find somebody else to victimize, because I'm not the guy, I'm not the girl, the gal, whatever I'm allowed to say. I'm not the person that fate's going to have its way with. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so very much for listening to All Natural Being. We'll be back for our 3 of our final live shows, and at least in the month of April, maybe May. June's on the bubble, as I said. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you so very much. Just like the Columbus Blue Jackets, get out there. Whatever the odds are, I hope they're stacked against you, because when you're successful, and I believe you will be, you'll be able to say, look at what I did. Thank you so very much for joining us. Have an absolutely spectacular day.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.